Well, it's Easter, high holy day of the Christian faith, but it's also the anniversary of our reopening. We reopened in April of 2020. You see, we had the blessing of all the fundamentalists that were willing to take the issue to court when the governor closed the churches. And a federal judge said, no, can't do that. So we got to open right back up. We were only closed 6 weeks. But we did all of our heavy duty mitigation. We as we still are, requiring masks in and out, taking temperatures. But until today, we had our chairs much more widely spread. And although you'll notice that all the chairs aren't back, that we have spaces between the rows, we're really leaving it to you to figure out where you want to sit. Because we trust you, we think you're intelligent, and that you can do this well. And we've had absolutely no issues with the pandemic here, and I hold to that is our intention all along, to be safe, to be responsible, and to continue doing what we do, and that's celebrating life in every way that we can. So thank you for being here today. I am not one that is prone to speak on issues of the Easter holiday according to the Christian faith. I would imagine if you took the pulse of generally the Christian world, they would tell you that the science of mind is not Christian, even though our textbook is filled with quotes of Jesus. But we just don't fit into that model by most of their standards, and that's fine, because there's really a need for a label isn't really there. Although it is important to understand that we are not separate from Christianity. In fact, we are not separate from any faith that seeks to understand the presence of the divine. And I could stand here and tell you among all of the faiths how many differences we have with them, but what would that prove? We don't need to focus on differences. It would serve us to focus on how we are the same and how we are inclusive. And so that's where we're going today. And rather than simply giving a message, what we're going to do is have ritual. We're going to do ceremony. And we have, of course, we do that every Sunday by what we do. When I chime the tingshas, I'm facing the directions, and that is a Native American tradition. We use the chakra bowls, which different groups use for different things. Ours is to align our 7 primary chakras. We do all of these things in a ritualistic way, and it has always worked for us. And today we're going to carry that into the message and really talk about how we are much like these other faiths in the world, these other major faiths. So we'll begin. In the practice of science of mind, we believe that all paths lead to God, and that all rituals have intrinsic value, whether by lighting a candle, honoring the directions, burning incense, chanting a mantra, or offering a prayer. We respect all of the ways in which people seek to deepen their awareness of the divine, for even though there may appear to be great differences between us, the destination we seek is the same. Today we are lighting the flames of faith. This ceremony celebrates the oneness of life by acknowledging that all believers of these faiths come from one universal presence. And so we begin. I would like to invite Deborah Rumpf to please come forward and light our first candle. We light this candle honoring all forms of shamanism and indigenous traditions as the ancient grounded faith of awakening. Shamanism exists for the purpose of healing and is based in the premise that this visible world is infused with invisible forces. Shamans function between the physical and spirit worlds, treating mental and physical illnesses by entering supernatural realms to provide meaning and remedy to human conditions. In the science of mind, we know the power of that which is invisible. There is more going on that we cannot see than there is that we can see. This is the way of the shamanic traditions, and this is the way of science of mind. Somebody's got it. Okay. Bruce, you were going to come up here? But I guess you're going to come here now. Bruce Baird, please come forward and light our second candle. Thank you. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and balance. The Tao, or natural way, is the eternal, spontaneous, indescribable way of life. The Tao teaches balance, vitality, peace, non-action, finding the divine in emptiness, detachment, flexibility, and receptiveness. The three jewels of Taoism are compassion, moderation, and humility. Taoists believe that we may gain knowledge of the universe by understanding ourselves. Those who practice the principles of science of mind believe that to understand the universe, we must first understand ourselves. Reverend Cliff, please come and light our third candle. We light this candle, honoring all forms of Judaism, teaching the ethical path of sacred law. Judaism is the world's first great monotheistic religion based upon principles and ethics embodied in Hebrew scriptures. According to Jewish tradition, Judaism begins with the covenant between Jehovah and Abraham. Then, following the Hebrew exodus from Egypt, the laws of Moses were enacted to create a new way of living in peaceful coexistence. In essence, the Jewish faith is founded on right and honorable action. In the science of mind, we know the power of law through which we create our lives. This connects us to the teachings of the Jewish faith. Sandhya Maheshwardi, please come forward and light our fourth candle. We light this light, honoring all forms of Hinduism, teaching the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. This is a symbol on the screen of the Om. The Om is the sacred sound of the universe. It speaks of our oneness. It is considered the greatest of all mantras. The primary concepts of Hinduism include truth is eternal and never changing. Brahman, as the highest consciousness, is eternal, irreducible, infinite, omnipresent, and is the spiritual core of all that is. Everyone should strive to achieve Dharma by living a peaceful coexistence. Karma is the law of action, inherent and in all resulting consequences. And all individual souls are immortal. In the science of mind, we do not use the terms Brahman, Dharma, and karma. Karma a little bit. Yet we align with these key concepts, knowing that the spirit within is the highest consciousness, and through mind we have the power to think and create our lives in alignment with our divine nature. In these ways, we align with the teachings of the Hindu faith. Troy Matthews, please come forward and light our 5th candle. No. Work that out with him later. We light this light honoring all forms of Christianity as the path of love through Christ consciousness. These symbols that are on the screen did not all appear at once. The one in the center, the fish, and the Greek words that spell out the name of Yeshua, or as most of us know, Jesus, was the original symbol of the Christian faith. And of course, the crucifix emerged. It couldn't have been used back when there was active crucifixions because it was a thing that was horrifying to people. And of course, the dove of peace, which is recognized by most faiths, but certainly by the Christian faith. In the 12th chapter of the Gospel of Mark, Jesus is teaching when a Hebrew scribe asks him, "What commandment is the foremost of all?" Jesus replied, "The foremost commandment is, 'Hear, O Israel, there is but one God, and you shall love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these.'" So what Jesus teaches us, that there are two things to know. That God is to be loved and that your neighbor is to be loved. Perhaps that's because they're the same thing. In the science of mind, we believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of all life to itself. And in this way, we align perfectly with all Christian faith. Gloria Maria Lancet Murray, please come and light our 6th candle. We light this candle honoring all forms of Buddhism in the teachings of the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. What you're looking at is called the Dharma Wheel. It symbolizes the Buddha's path to nirvana. Nirvana is that state of no desire and eternal peace. It also represents the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. They're called noble because they are intended to liberate all people from suffering. And they are. 1, life always involves suffering in obvious and in subtle forms. 2, the cause of suffering comes from believing that we are separate from God and from one another. 3, our suffering ends when we understand the oneness of all life and we awaken our minds to that which is available to us. And 4, the noble path of enlightenment requires that we live ethically, emptying our minds of distraction and developing our inner wisdom. In the science of mind, we believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. And in this way, the science of mind aligns perfectly with the Buddhist faith. And finally, Deidre Martin, please come forward and light our 7th candle. We light this light, honoring all forms of Islam as the path of acceptance through spiritual discipline. The teachings of the Prophet Muhammad include Shahada, testifying that all belongs to Allah or the divine. Salah, the ritual prayers performed 5 times daily as an expression of gratitude which focuses one's mind on God. And zakat, the practice of giving as a religious obligation based on accumulated wealth. Sounds like tithing. In the science of mind, we know the power of spiritual discipline through our devotion to daily spiritual mind treatment and meditation. And in the tradition of the Islamic world, I share words from the mystical poet Rumi as he speaks of the dancing dervishes. You are the taste of every lip, the intention of every religion. You swing your great heart out of the ground and put your shapes in the air. Half crazy is not nearly enough for you. Your madness rises out of love. We must not be afraid of what anyone might say. Be source, not result. Be source, not result. Within these paths of faith, we find elements of our own science of mind in which we embrace the path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. In the flame of these traditions, we find the healing wisdom, of the shamanic paths, the sacred balance of the Tao, the ethics of the laws of Abraham, the Hindu wisdom of balance and oneness, love and transcendence in the teachings of Jesus, the freedom and compassion of the teachings of the Buddha, and spiritual discipline in the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Now that our flames of faith are fully lit, We affirm that our path is the path to God, as it is with all faiths. It is important for us in this teaching to not find ourselves separate, to not find ourselves some outside thing. The wisdom and the consciousness of this teaching called Science of Mind dwells in all faiths, meaning that the value of all faiths can be found in what we do. So we honor and respect all those who go into churches, that go into synagogues and mosques, that do their prayers from wherever they are. They are on a spiritual path. Their path is not less than ours, and it is not greater than ours. Ours is to know who we are and to use the teachings that have come to us so elegantly from this man, Ernest Holmes, and all those who have followed him, and all those who preceded him, so that we may live the very best life that we can. So on this Easter Sunday, I bid you peace, hearts filled with love, that on your path you may find everything that you desire, that you may live the life you have come to live and be the extraordinary being that you've come to be. And in so doing, we will have done our work together very well. And so it is.